is transforming youth sports together. With that being said, I'm your host, Coach Justin Furtado, and in today's episode, I am going to share a current challenge I am facing as a high school basketball coach. And I'm sure it's a challenge many of you are facing as coaches, and even if you are listening as parents. So, that challenge is patience. Patience. Now, my team, I'm a very, very competitive person. The team I'm coaching right now is 2-8. Obviously, 2 wins, 8 losses is not a great record, right? That's not what I set out at the beginning of the year. Um, right now, right, point blank, we are not a good basketball team. I'm not panicking though. And here's why. Number one, as youth coaches, right? Anyone really, you can argue that varsity coaches are still youth coaches. They need to obviously focus more on winning and losing than a JV coach does. JV coach's job is not wins and losses. It's improvement, right? Now, if we finish 2-20 and we don't win again and no one's improving, then no, I'm not doing my job. And that's unacceptable. So with that being said, right, we're 2-8, and I feel it, right. You feel it. You coach them. I'm coaching every game hard, right, and we have this ego, right. I feel this ego when I'm coaching, and when I'm coaching against other coaches, it's natural to want to compare ourselves, be like, oh, either start making excuses. Number one about our team, and then number two, right, to just get really frustrated and just whatever you want to say, word vomit all over the players, and make excuses, and it's judge ourselves, and really put our worth on our win and loss record. Now, what I reflect after a game, and at the end of the day, right, I'm not going to judge myself, right. I don't think my value as a coach is going to be based off of win loss, right. Number one, right, win loss has to do with multiple factors, right? Obviously, talent and talent's a big one. Talent and coaching, those are two big factors. Now, what can I control? I can control my coaching, right? I can't control the talent. I can't, as a high school coach, right? I can't control who comes through my door. What I can control is continuing to teach, continuing to educate my players on how to be better basketball players, how to become a better team. So this week, right, in some of the challenges that we face, and I face, is we've had less practice. Like, I'm at a school where our gym is small, and we're sharing it with other organizations. We're sharing it with the play. We're sharing it with varsity basketball, with girls basketball, with organizations that rent the gym. We're facing all of that. And so there's a time constraint. We haven't practiced enough, right? I cannot expect as a coach, if we have not practiced enough, like, practice is where you build all those habits. And when we go to a game and we don't perform the habits that I want, like, things I'm really thinking about, let's just talk about defense, right? Yesterday, we gave up 81 points, which for a team that I'm coaching is unacceptable, right? So in practice today, what we're going to do, we're going to work on defense, right? That way, when we play tomorrow, we're not giving up 81 points. That's not acceptable, right? I'm not saying accept your team's 2-8 or whatever it is, right? I'm saying be patient and keep teaching. Be patient, keep teaching, because it takes time, right? You have to plant the seed, and then you have to water it every single day. And some plants take longer to water, right? Right, you may get some kids that come into your program that are ready to go. They're eager to learn. They know exactly the system, right? But for me, I have to teach them what I want consistently, day in and day out. We've had a little bit of a commitment issue. So or one of the days of practice during media day, we didn't get to have an actual practice before a game, which was unfortunate, right? But what I did have is I had time. I had access to a classroom. So we talked about commitment. I talked to them, and I taught them about commitment. What does it mean to be on a team? When is it acceptable to miss a practice? When is it unacceptable to miss a practice? What is that requirement? What does it mean to be a part of a team, right? Is it all about me, or do I have to celebrate other people? Do I have to accept a role Do I have to shoot less? Right? Do I have to play defense? Right? These are all things that I'm teaching, right? And we, as youth sports coaches, we are working with young people. We can't assume it's our job to teach. And I think this is one of the biggest things that I have grown, right? When I think back to my first year of coaching high school basketball, I thought, after the first week, they buy in, they do everything I said, right? They'll give each other high fives. They're going to be great energy on the bench, all that stuff. Here's the honest truth. It takes at least 3 months to just start seeing results if you're starting from square one. That's my opinion. And I'm talking about results, not necessarily wins and losses. You can probably win, but if let's say you have my team, we don't like to pressure the basketball. We have built the players I have built habits over time with them playing, not pressuring the basketball. So that it's a type of defense if you're not a basketball person. So with that being said, it's going to take time for them to learn how to pressure the basketball and be comfortable and build that as a habit. It's going to take at least 3 months, right? For us to get really good at doing that, which a lot of times, right? How long is the season? 2 to 3 months. So a lot of times we'll see all the progress and you'll be playing your best right as the season ends, which is the unfortunate part. And then if you really want to talk, so thinking about coaches, parents, for athletes, just from my experience, with BTG basketball, coaching high school basketball, if you really want to see like that transformation, it's like it's at least 6 months, if not a year. Like a year is like when you really start to see, like I have some kids that were in my BTG basketball program who were just, they would come to BTG, but more importantly, they go work on their own. And that compounded over time. And you can see after a year, you're like, whoa, right? This girl, she's gotten a lot better. I would say you start to see results like 3 months out, and then 6 months is really where you're like, okay, right. The message is hitting. So patience. I think that's my big thing that I wanted to come on and talk about and share the experience that I'm going through and talk to you as a coach. Now, here is what is acceptable, right? Say we're 2-8. I'm still going to go coach my butt off. And one of the things that I'm realizing, they need more discipline. I need to today we're going to have a challenging practice. Like I'm going to challenge them and they're not going to like me today. They're just not. They're going to have to work their butt off. If they're not communicating, they're either going to do it again or they're going to run. And I would rather have them do it again, actually, instead of run sometimes, right? Sometimes. But, I realize, like in a game, if they're not pressuring the ball, they're not communicating. We haven't done it enough in practice. If it's not translating the game, it has not been done enough in practice, and that is on us as coaches to prioritize that and get that done in practice. And so that's why I'm just, it's obviously frustrating, right? We've had, the few practices that we have had. It's frustrating when it doesn't translate right away. We have to have patience. Like that is like the most important skill I feel like I've learned as a coach. And one of the challenges you're going to face with every single team. You may have the one team every 10 years that comes in and knows exactly what you want to do. It just takes time, right? And that is the fun part of coaching and the headache of coaching, where you leave and you're like, oh, we covered this in practice. Covered in practice once, coach. Covered in practice twice, 3 times. Now, if you cover it 21 days in a row, and they're still not doing it, that's a different conversation. Maybe what you're doing is wrong. I don't know. I'm just speaking from my perspective and my opinion and how I'm addressing it. I'm going to coach them hard today. Like I'm not accepting the 2-8 results. And I'm also understanding that if we really are intentional about working and getting better, I'm not going to sit here and say we're going to be a 500 team. We're going to be a championship team. All I care about is getting better. That's all I care about. You, as a youth coach, that's your number one job, is to help your athletes become better at that sport and become better as a teammate, become better as a leader, become better as a communicator, like teaching them all the life skills. Like most of your athletes that you are coaching are not going to play collegiately, not going to play professionally. So how are you, coach, helping prepare them for life beyond the game? So if you got a lot out of this episode, share it with a friend, a parent, a coach, and make sure you subscribe to our channel. This is the Beyond the Scoreboard podcast, We are transforming youth sports together. I'll be in your eyes and ears next week. Coach Furtado out.